hear you.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Ejira.
Okay.
Now, am I audible?
Hello. Good evening, Pramila.
Thank you.
Yes, you're audible. Yes, you are. Good evening. Good afternoon from Nigeria. No one is here. Pramila.
Good evening, one and all. A very good evening and a warm welcome to the WEF 2021. Here we have a beautiful speaker and the beautiful topic that she has chosen. It's time to celebrate who you are. In fact, life is all about celebration. I'm happy to welcome Ejira Okanashi. She's a project and program manager, a fashion enthusiast, and a passionate public speaker. She's devoted member of Toastmasters International, and currently she's the president of one of the clubs in Abuja, Nigeria. And her desire is to see young women overcome failure. Wow, that's very interesting and very inspiring. So today she's here to share her story, like how she overcame her failures, and she's here to share her success story. And yes, we are very happy to welcome you, Ejira, the lady with a serene smile and who come from the serene city of Abuja, Abuja, Nigeria. And, in fact, WEF 2021 is very happy to confer you upon with, an award, exceptional leader of excellence for the wonderful service that you've been doing. So very happy to have you here. The floor is all yours, Ejira.
Thank you so much, Frida. Can you hear me? I just need to confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Right. Fantastic. Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you for the award. I appreciate it. Right. Good afternoon from Nigeria. And good afternoon to everyone. Good morning, good afternoon to everyone all over the world. So Hester Prynne is a character in the classic American novel, The Scarlet Letter. And she has always fascinated me because I found her story really interesting and relatable in a way. When we meet Hester Prynne, she is introduced to us as an adulteress with an illegitimate child. And in the time she lived in, she was forced to cut out from a red fabric the letter A, and she was to wear that letter A on her dress for the rest of her life, for every day of her life, as penance for her sins, the sin of adultery. And for me, the metaphor has always stood out. It's glaring. It was never lost on me because I always found it interesting how, as humans, based on our past mistakes and our perceived failures, we tend to label ourselves. And sometimes we even allow society to label us as well. And we take those labels and those letters and we stitch them to the fabric of our soul. And you see, these letters and labels, they do more harm than good many times. And they influence the way we form our identities, our self-identities. I'll tell a personal story about labels and letters. When I was in I would say about 17 or 18, I gained admission into one of the prestigious universities in Nigeria to study a 4-year course. And it was shortly after I gained admission, maybe in my second year, that I discovered something was wrong. I came to find out that I wasn't exactly a registered student. I wasn't recognized as a student. And to be honest, and to be fair to me, a number of factors affected this development. One was the fact that this university had a very poor system and structure when it came to registering students. And at the same time, they had poor data management. Now, I take full responsibility and admit that my inaction escalated the situation. And what was my mistake? My mistake was the fact that I tried to save myself. I tried to rescue myself. And to this day, I still don't know why I thought that was a good idea. It was just not right. And the more I tried to help myself, I found myself being dug. I was digging myself into this massive, massive hole that eventually swallowed me up. And there were a few other factors and one or two other characters that were involved in this saga, but I won't bore you with the details. The long and short of this story is that after years of being in school, I wasn't able to graduate. I didn't graduate at all, and I had nothing to show for it. When news of the situation got to my family, my parents in particular, they were devastated beyond words. And it was such a painful thing to watch them suffer like that. After years of investing in me, I felt so guilty and ashamed of everything I had put them through. And in addition to that, remember that I had faced my own private hell when I was trying to solve this problem in school. And to add to that, furthermore, I had to deal with the anger and hurt and harsh words and insults from other members of my family, from extended family, from neighbors, from family, from friends, and from enemies even. Everybody was mad at me. Now, let me give you a little context to this story. I'm the first of 4 children, and I'm the only daughter. I was born into a really prestigious family, and my father was a fairly respected, a well-respected officer in the Nigerian Army, and my mother was a nurse in one of the government huge organizations. So I was supposed to set an example. I was supposed to do well in school. I was supposed to graduate from school. I was supposed to get a great job. And then, of course, I was supposed to get married and have children and live happily after. But unfortunately, I didn't follow the script, not one bit. So these labels were thrown at me from all corners. You're a disappointment. You're a waste of time and money and space. You are irresponsible. You're useless. You're dumb. You're stupid. You're a failure. Ladies and gentlemen, I took all of this in. I took all these labels in. I criticized myself, took everything they said into heart. I wove them into the fabric of my mind and my soul. And as you can imagine, I suffered a whole lot. I lived a mediocre life. I was buried under guilt and shame. For the most part, I was stuck. This went on for a few years until one day I woke up and I decided and realized that time was passing me by and I still hadn't yet understood what it felt like to live my best life. I hadn't even reached, or I hadn't even come close to the zenith of the possibilities of my potential. And so there had to be a change, and I wanted the change. I was desperate for change. And I knew that if anything was going to change at all, I would be responsible. Nobody was going to be. I had to pick up the pieces myself. And so thus began this journey into freedom. I had a spiritual awakening, I had a mental awakening, and that gave me renewed hope and energy for life. I want to live. I wanted to reach my potential. And one of the first things I had to do was tough. I had to learn how to forgive myself. I forgave myself, let go of the past. I took lessons from the past, but then I had to let go of the past. You may be wondering why and how. The truth is, when you focus your thoughts on a particular thing, you create an impression, you create impulses. So whatever you focus your thoughts on creates impulses. And I learned quickly that when I was focused on the past, the emotions and the feelings that I experienced then were reenacted in my body, in my soul. So I knew that if I were to focus on the past and the mistakes, I would be doing myself a disservice. And so I had to learn how to live in the present, in the future, in the moment. I had to learn how to be here in the moment and focus on the now, which took some time to do, and I'm still learning that. Another thing I had to do was, luckily for me, I was around a few people who were able to recognize my strengths and my abilities. And I focused on all of that. I focused my energy on that. I paid attention to the fact I was strong and tenacious. I looked back on my trauma. I realized I must have been strong to go through all of that for all those years. I had to applaud myself for that. I had to appreciate that. I realized that I'm intelligent, I'm analytical, I'm thoughtful, kind, generous. I took off the positives of myself and I focused on that. I meditated on that. And then finally, understood the importance of words and affirmations. I understood that what you say about yourself is what you feel about yourself. And so when you focus on positives, you become that. You see, many of us do not celebrate ourselves, perhaps because maybe we are carrying labels unconsciously. There are labels on our souls that we are carrying, maybe from trauma or from whatever circumstances. Or it could be that some of us do not appreciate our achievements. But I'll say to you, you have to learn to appreciate your achievements. Appreciate the fact, celebrate you for who you are, your tenacity, your beauty, your charm, everything you have. If you pay attention to me, you realize that you have to understand your thoughts, focus your thoughts on the positives, be in the present. Appreciate your positive sides, and then affirm yourself. Because the more you celebrate yourself, the more you thrive, the more you expand, and the more you gain confidence. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent, Ejura. That was power-packed and, very short, crisp, and, to the point, and in fact, very inspiring, coming up when we come up with our own stories. So I think you've been impacting a lot of young lives and women in particular. So look forward to do a lot more. And, we really appreciate your time. And thank you for this insightful, short presentation where we were able to understand how the words matter, right? How words can actually change your life. So that's absolutely, very powerful. It makes a lot of difference in our life. Thank you so much. And Ejura, you'll be receiving your e-certificate in a fortnight. So we're very happy once again to have had you here. I'm privileged personally to have known you and your journey of life. And let's celebrate life. Life is all about celebration. That's a beautiful way of putting things forward. So thank you so much, Ejura.
Absolutely.
Wonderful presentation.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.